Hey everyone, welcome to Spring Cleaning for the Soul 2025. I'm so glad you're here. For the next 3 days, we are going to learn how to uncover what is toxic to us, how to detox our mind, body, and spirit, why that's important, clear the emotional clutter, release what we no longer need, and make space for what is true and authentic for us in the life that we want to live. Sounds like a lot, right? But I promise I will try and make this entertaining and informative and all the things. I'm working with 2 cameras here. So I'm doing Facebook Live, and I'm also recording to put this on YouTube, on my YouTube channel later. So for those that can't attend the Facebook Live, no worries, because I'm going to put this on YouTube as well, and I will share the link to it in my personal page, Kelly Brown, Kelli Brown, and also in my Hypnotherapy with Kelly page, so you won't miss any of the stuff. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. I don't know if I can answer during the live chat, to be honest. I think it's probably too much going on. I'm not super tech savvy, and I own that. But you can definitely get a hold of me through Facebook Messenger, through Instagram at kelly.brown_hypnotherapy, or you can email me at kelly@hypnotherapywithkelly.com. Kelly spelled again, just to remind everybody, Kelli. You're not going to find me if you don't spell my name right. So let's get into the work of day 1, detox. Why is it important to acknowledge the things that drain us and kind of add a toxic load, if you will? That is because, for the simple reason, energy and emotions get stuck. They get stuck in our physical bodies. And over time, they become dense, and they can manifest themselves into autoimmune conditions, into chronic illness, into pain. And when we don't, that happens over time, over a long time in a lot of cases. When you don't address your feelings around a situation, it starts to block your energy centers. And this is the mechanics of how this happens. So your energy centers get blocked, and when your energy centers are not clear and energy is not moving and flowing, that's where we get into physical problems, right? I mean, how many of us have, woke up and went, wow, it feels like someone kicked the crap out of us, and you have no idea why. And then you relate it to, oh, wait a minute. Something happened yesterday or last week that I've been kind of hanging on to, and here we are. So just as an example, maybe your voice gets hoarse, right? Maybe you're in a situation where you find yourself swallowing your feelings or your words. You want to say something, but you don't feel empowered to say something. You don't feel safe to say something. You want to just not deal with it. So you don't say a word. And then maybe your voice you notice your voice starts to get hoarse, or your jaw becomes stiff, because you're clenching your teeth. Maybe you start noticing issues related to your throat. Whether it's dry all the time, whether it feels like something is stuck there, because you're unable to speak your truth. The thyroid gets involved when you experience long-term feelings of being victimized, for example. Or maybe, you're swallowing these things, so you start to develop a sour belch once in a while, and then it becomes more frequent over time. Maybe it turns into heartburn or indigestion, and if it's left even longer, maybe it turns into IBS or gallbladder disease. In the case of IBS, this is often due to feeling fearful and not letting go of the fear. Gallbladder issues very often emotionally have to do with feeling hard and bitter over a period of time. So lots of ways that our emotions can manifest physically in our bodies. The Heal documentary, there's a book. Kelly Noonan-Goras wrote the book, and she produced the documentary. The documentary is available on Amazon Prime, but it illustrates how chronic illness manifests in our body just beautifully. She did a super beautiful job on it. There's all kinds of thought leaders and experts weighing in, and they're all kind of saying the same thing, that emotions get trapped. And if we don't let them go, they can manifest physically. So because chronic illness often has an emotional root cause, right? Where it shows up is determined where that emotion is held in the body. And if we work to feel our feelings and let them move through us and release them, we're keeping our energy clean. We're keeping our chakras or energy centers open, balanced, and healthy, which is what we want. Now, for those of you that are wondering what the heck is an energy center and a chakra and life force energy and all that, I will explain. The human body is made up over 50 trillion cells, and each cell contains natural intelligence, omniscient wisdom, and it is connected to the universe. And every living thing has this. Every living thing. We are all connected by having this in us. And kind of a good physical analogy way to think about this is that the universe is a huge ocean of water. And every living thing within the universe is like a tiny water droplet. So together, these water droplets make up us. And it's a part of Reiki, which is the Japanese Rei is life, universal, and Ki is life force. So Reiki is universal life force, and we all have it. It's all in us. It's all in our genetic structure. It's an inbuilt intelligence that energizes the mind, body, and spirit. And Reiki stimulates growth, health, life, and healing. And when it's allowed to flow freely through our bodies and around our bodies, it keeps us alive and healthy for a really long time. A really long time. And there are 7 main energy centers. So if Reiki is the thing that's flowing through us, there's 7 main energy centers in the body that control the flow of this universal life force. And they're called chakras. And each chakra is responsible for supplying energy to specific parts of the body. And when they're blocked and clogged and, not doing well, the body becomes sick and the flow of energy is diluted. So what are the things that are kind of toxic to us? What are the things that block our energy? And some of these are super obvious and some of them maybe not so much. So before I go through this big list of things, just know that you're doing great wherever you are. And this is not to, produce feelings of shame or guilt or anything like that. This is just to open your mind to, okay, these are the things that are not so good for my energy, that can cause blockages. And, it's up to you whether you dive into it and do something about it or not. It's not meant to be triggering in any way. I mean, we all have this stuff going on, sometimes more than others, depending on where we are in our lives. And it's just to bring awareness to to unblocking your energy. What do you need to do to unblock your energy, and what applies to you and what doesn't? So negative thoughts and self-talk are at the number one top of the list. Our thoughts become things. And if you think or tell yourself something long enough, you start to believe it, and your body starts to respond to that. So constantly criticizing yourself or engaging in self-doubt is very draining, and it creates limiting beliefs, and it caps us off. It caps our potential off when we think, oh, we can only go this high because I have these negative beliefs about myself and what I can do. Toxic relationships, another one. Some relationships are just emotionally draining, and they're negative, and they can leave you feeling just exhausted. How many times have you hung out with somebody and went, oh my God, I'm so tired? You're absorbing their energy. You're absorbing their toxicity. If it's not mutually uplifting, if you feel burdened by it. Now, this is a tricky one because some of these things we can't just say, okay, whoa, you're an energy drain and I need to stay away from you. If it's somebody that, you really care about or you're taking care of, that's not always an option, but just watching your energy around it. If you know that you're drained after an interaction, do the things that we'll learn tomorrow to rebuild yourself. Unresolved emotions is another one. Holding on to past trauma, grief, anger, shame, guilt, all the things can keep you stuck and prevent you from moving forward. And it depletes your vitality, and you're carrying that. Think of a 50-pound backpack on your back. That's how unresolved emotions feel. They're very heavy. Stress and overwhelm is another one. Constantly living in that fight or flight mode due to work or financial pressures or, family stressors, all the things. It's a massive, massive energy drain. Like, who hits the floor? You hit snooze 5 times because you don't want to get out of bed. And then when you do get out of bed, you're throwing yourself together. You run out the door. You're not hydrated. You don't have breakfast. You're not giving yourself any kind of sense of peace. So, sometimes we do it to ourselves. It's just being aware of that. If you do not start your day from a peaceful place, your whole day is kind of down in the toilet. So that's a big one as well. And stress management and learning how to manage all of that. Poor nutrition and lack of hydration. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Eating processed food, fast food, not giving your body what it needs, not staying hydrated. Hydration is absolutely huge. We lose our drive to drink enough water as we age. So, using thirst as a trigger to drink something, by the time you're thirsty, it's already too late. You're at least 2% dehydrated, according to some of the studies. And same with, not eating live foods and eating foods with all kinds of junk and chemical and colorings and additives and anything made in a lab, probably you shouldn't eat. The gurus are always saying, eat things with one ingredient in them. And that's your clear path to great health, nutrition-wise. Sleep deprivation, another big toxic load when we are sleep deprived. I forget who I was listening to on TikTok, but they were saying that, there's lots of people that say, oh, I can get by on on 5 hours of sleep. I can get by on 5, 6 hours of sleep. I don't need 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. I get by on 5 or 6. And the study shows that the percentage of people that do well on 5 hours of sleep is 0. That's very kind of sobering. And sleep, getting enough sleep has a lot to do with our physical health, our mental health, our spiritual health. Environmental toxicity, the obvious things, exposure to pollutants and chemicals and clutter, even clutter, your environment. When your house is cluttered, it's a big energy drain. When you think about the chemicals that you put on your body and don't even know it. When we talk about fragrance, for example, fragrance can have at least 600 chemicals in it, and they just call it fragrance. Women that wear scented products that aren't using, super clean cosmetics, who are using hair products, we can easily walk out the door in the morning already being exposed to over 1,000 chemicals. 1,000 chemicals. And think about that toxic load and your liver trying to deal with all these foreign things and these things that aren't good for us. You can easily see how you do that day after day after day after day. Your body's going to get tired from that. Overcommitment and people pleasing is another one. Saying yes to everything, even though it's draining, or you just don't want to do it, or it's not aligned with your goals, leaves you feeling depleted. You're automatically a little bit resentful. Your body is resentful of it. Even if your mind isn't thinking it, your body is resentful for being overcommitted, overextended, saying yes just because, so-and-so is going to be disappointed with me if I don't. And that leads us into the next one, which is lack of boundaries, right? Not setting healthy boundaries, whether that's personal, professional, family, whatever. It leads to exhaustion and burnout. If the answer is always yes, it's hard for people to take when the answer is no. So kind of setting that balance of, I need to take care of me first, and then I have lots to take care of others, right? It's that put your oxygen mask on the plane before you help anybody else. And I used to think, no way. If I was on a plane with my kids, I would make sure their masks are on first before I do mine. And they're like, yeah, but if you put theirs on for them and you pass out, that's not helpful either. So and we forget it. We forget to take care of ourselves before we go ahead and take care of other people. That's a toxic load on our mind, body, and spirit. So lack of boundaries, negative media consumption. This can be obvious and not obvious. So I stopped listening to the news a long time ago. I was never a fan of listening to the news anyways. I got in the habit of watching CB24 in the subway station and the train station while I was working in Toronto. But say the last 5 years, media has taken a different turn. And, I just choose not to watch the news. I don't need to know what's going on to that extent. It always trickles in somewhere, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Insta, randomly seeing something on TV, randomly seeing it when you open your homepage on the internet. I firmly believe for myself, I will not miss anything big. I also have people in my life that do watch the news, so they keep me informed, but it's diluted down. So there's kind of the obvious consumption of media. There's the social media consumption too. There's the obvious content, I guess, that doesn't feel good. But even some of the content that is meant to feel good, for a lot of people, it creates comparison. So you get looking at all these beautifully curated Instagram feeds and, oh my gosh, they're a millionaire at 23 years old, and here I am 30 years older than that, and where's my $1 million? Or, wow, they started walking 6 weeks ago, and you could bounce a dime off their abs or a quarter off their abs, and why not me? And it gets to be very toxic in that way, right? That comparison is the thief of joy. Absolutely, for sure. So, there's the big obvious things, there's the not so obvious things that look like they're positive, but your body isn't accepting it as positive. If you're not looking at these things and go, wow, great for them, what an inspiration, that makes me feel good to see that. If you're feeling some ways about what you're seeing, chances are it's creating some toxicity in your system. Physical illness and chronic pain. So that's another obvious energy drain. I work extensively with this, with my clients, and we work to, rebalance and find the emotional root causes of things, and really work toward feeling better. I'm probably not as allowed to say recovery or remission, but I've seen it happen. There's lots of examples of this happening out in the world. Radical Remission podcast, if you ever want to find uplifting stories of people that are really up against it with their health. Lot of stage 4 cancer stories where people have gone a holistic route. And I'm not bashing traditional medicine whatsoever. A lot of these people did use traditional medicine, and they went holistically and alternative to supplement that. Some people just went straight for holistic. Holistic medicine definitely has a place in the navigation of chronic illness and pain, autoimmune disease, all of it. I am not here to tell you which path you should take. You need to pick what's right for you. But as you can imagine, illness and pain definitely keep you blocked up, right? They are very, very draining. So that is something to really address. Even if you don't have anything chronic going on, keeping your energy centers open and clear really goes a long way with not getting anything like that. Then we move on to unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a really low vibrational state. We are all vibration. We're all frequency. Everything living is frequency. And there's vibrational states when, joy and elation being the top, and the bottom one, I believe, is unworthiness and jealousy and those types of vibrations. So when you're hanging on to a low vibe frequency of unforgiveness, of either, holding on to grudges, not forgiving yourself or others, it really blocks the flow, especially in your lower chakras. And a lot of the time, if your lower chakras are really blocked, it's very hard for the energy to move up into the higher chakra states, and we'll get into that. Living out of alignment with your purpose. When you aren't doing what lights you up or living authentically, you very likely feel like you're walking through life on autopilot, and it's draining to your vitality. Now, it's not always feasible. Is feasible the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. We all don't always have our dream job, let's say, if you're still in the workforce. But and that's okay. That's not what this means. You can use your income from your job that you're not feeling great about, let's say, to fuel your purpose and live into your purpose. Because isn't it wonderful that none of us have the same purpose? And we can pick anything we want, anything that resonates with us. But if you're out of alignment with that, if you're not doing anything that lights you up, that feels like, yeah, I'm in this zone when I'm doing this, that, or the other, it's draining. We're meant to come here and experience joy, and we'll get into that, I think, on day 2 or 3. But anyway, lack of movement can drain your life force, can block you up. You need physical movement to move your energy so it doesn't stagnate. Even, just a little bit of stretching. If you're not able to get up and walk around and move, just stretching your limbs, stretching your neck, any type of thing like that, it's super helpful to get your energy flowing again. Overuse of technology. Spending too much time on your screen or in virtual spaces disconnects you from the present moment. If your face is always buried in your phone, your tablet, your computer, that is draining. That is super draining. You're not participating with life. You're hiding. You're hiding, and you're kind of buried in this land of opinions and other voices, and living through other people and their experiences and not doing your thing. And I'm not discounting technology. We all have fully embraced it at this point, to one degree or another. But just be aware that if you are feeling drained after your time that you give yourself to be on social media, or the time that you're watching TV, you'll notice it in your body. You'll start to feel very drained. So it's kind of being aware of that and knowing when to step away and give yourself a break from it. Constant worry or fear. That puts you in a state of being very defensive, being very contracted, and being in that low vibrational state, again, blocks your energy flow. Fear really affects the lower root chakra. Root chakra is down in your lower pelvis, and it is all about your safety and stability, and how safe do you feel in the world? And if you don't ever feel safe, I guarantee you your root chakra is blocked. It's blocked. So disorganization is the next one. And we touched on this a little bit before, but a cluttered and chaotic life makes it really hard to focus, because you've got all this clutter, mental, emotional, physical, whatever it is. You've got all of that running in the background. And then from that space of chaos, you need to make decisions and choices. And that's really hard to do when the back feels chaotic and messy. Staying in a job or situation that doesn't fulfill you, doing something that doesn't align with your values or your passion, is like dumping energy into an empty space. It doesn't flow. It doesn't cycle. And I deeply understand staying with a job because you have to, because it's not, you haven't found another one to replace it. A lot of us do not have the luxury of walking away from one job before they've got another one lined up. But just an awareness of that. And even if you have to stay in that unfulfilling job or situation, that doesn't mean that you're doomed to have a toxic load on you all the time. It's about, okay, I'm in this thing, and let's shift the perspective, and let's find some positive things about this situation or this job that I can feel good about. And that kind of takes some of the toxicity away from it, if that makes sense to you. Not taking time for self-care, neglecting to recharge, is such a big thing. And a lot of us, many of us, look at self-care as, oh, that's the first thing to go. It's always the first thing to go. I'm too busy. I do not have time for 7-step skincare. I'm too busy. I cannot book in a massage. I'm too busy to meditate. I'm too busy to crack open this book I really want to read and spend an hour reading it. I'm too busy to pursue hobbies, right? We very much, that is the first thing to go. I'm too stressed out and busy to do this. But if we took the time to engage in self-care, all of a sudden the world opens up. And now you do have time. And then you start feeling like time is more on your side. And, it's that pouring. You can't pour from an empty cup. An empty cup is empty. You can't pour from it. There's nothing in it. There's nothing for you to give. But if you fill yourself up, if you have that hobby that you like, if you, just really be mindful about relaxing. And, I can't say enough about meditation. It is life-changing. And I used to be one of those people that I'm like, I can't meditate. I can't focus. I'm too agitated. I can't do it. But there's so many ways to meditate. Taking a walk outside is a form of meditation. Exercise can be a form of meditation. Reading can be a form of meditation. Listening to music, right? It's just about getting into that zone, just kind of clearing the conscious thoughts from your mind and just going with it. And you'd be surprised how when you start practicing, start with a minute. Start with a minute. And if you need help, there's lots of guided meditations out there. I give my clients guided meditations all the time, kind of based on our work with what we're doing. But it really gets you into another headspace. So meditation doesn't have to always be sitting in lotus position, in total silence, and having this clear mind as if you're sitting in the void. That's not true for a lot of us. Doing guided is definitely super helpful to kind of get you on the track of, okay, I can listen to this for 5 minutes. I mean, there's lots of meditations out there. They're probably less than 5 minutes. And just see what happens and just see how you feel. And clearing that slate really opens you up to other things. Now you can think clearly. Now you are not making fear-based decisions maybe. And it builds. It's a practice. Being perfect at it is not the goal. Having a practice of it is super helpful. So that is a big self-care thing. Meditation can be done through journaling, through art, through whatever. Anything that helps you kind of be in the moment and disconnect from your conscious thoughts can be considered meditative. So important to take care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we're just not setting ourselves up to live a a life that feels really, really good on all the levels. And then finally, my final point, the detoxifying last point I'm going to make, is ignoring your intuition. How many times have you had a gut feeling about something, or vibes about something, or your spidey senses on about something, and you ignore it? And then it hits the fan, either in a big way or a small way. And, you know, how many times have you looked back and went, oh, I had a feeling I shouldn't have done that, or shouldn't have said that, or shouldn't have talked to that person, or shouldn't have gone here or there, or whatever the case may be. And, if I'd have just listened to that, maybe the outcome would have been different. And if you're constantly ignoring your intuition, that's rough. You don't feel good from it. Trust me. I have an intuition practice most days of the week. I am pulling oracle cards. I am listening to the messages from the cards. I am journaling. I am doing the things to really connect deeply with those messages that are coming to me. And once you do it, it's so easy. Everybody has this gift. Everybody, every single one of us has this. And man, it's a huge value if you start listening to it. It guides you in the most amazing places, I promise you. So that's all the stuff that can build up in our system, make us feel not the best, make us feel low vibe, block our energy centers, all the things. So tomorrow, if you would like to join, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to chat about the ways, how can we release old stuck energy and renew ourselves in mind, body, and spirit. So I wish you all an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, being on the live with me, and holding space with me while I present this to the world. If you're watching the live later on tonight, awesome. I thank you for that. And like I said, I will get this on YouTube and share the link as soon as I figure out the technology of it all. I don't know why I struggle so much with it, because I tell myself I struggle with it. Right? Because that's my negative belief. My negative belief is that I am not great at technology, but I also know that I can make lots of things work, and I figure things out on my own sometimes, and with help sometimes, and that's not really true. The truth of it is that I find technology intimidating. So there's my toxicity, there's my thing, my negative thought that I need to work on. So what's yours? What came to you through this? Oh, forgot almost. Before we tap off here, I'm going to pull a card. What does the collective need to know about detoxifying their life, their habits, their thoughts, their belief? What is it that would be super helpful for everyone watching this right now? What do they need to know that will help them manage all these things? Oof. All right, we got two flipping out here. Interesting. So we have survival, and we've got charity. This is so cool. So if you think about it, charity is about giving, about not expecting anything in return. doing good for the sake of doing good, and doing good makes us feel good, right? So you owe it to yourself to give to yourself. And it is necessary for your survival. Literally, it is necessary for your survival to give yourself the space to look at what might be dragging your energy down, and to give yourself the space to renew yourself, to clear it all out, so that your survival is uplifted by it. Cards never lie. Cards never lie. So anyways, take that if it resonates, and if it doesn't, then that's okay too. So once again, thank you all so much for watching, for holding space with me, and I'll be back tomorrow for ways on how you can clear your energy.